How's it going, everybody? C-RadTV back here with another video. So, of course, another week of NFL playoff football upon us. We're now into the NFL Divisional round of the playoffs. So now with that said, it's time to go into the Divisional round and get into the Divisional round picks. So, of course, on the wild card round, we had 6 games last week, and we eliminated 6 teams from the playoffs. So we started this playoffs with 14 teams, and now we're down to the final 8. As 6 teams were sent packing last week. So, of course, last week in the wild card round, if you didn't see my playoff bracket, well, my playoff bracket was also my wild card picks too. And, of course, in the wild card round, I went 5-1 in the wild card round. The only game I got wrong was the 49ers and Cowboys game. So, yeah, but other than that, the AFC side, I got all the AFC games correct. And, yeah, that was the only game I got wrong. But, yeah, we got 4 games on deck this week. So we're going to go through each one individually, and let's see how this week stacks up. Let's go. So the first game we're going to go over, we have, of course, that Saturday at 4:30. We have in the AFC, we have the Cincinnati Bengals and the Tennessee Titans playing in Tennessee on CBS. Tennessee is favored in this game by 3.5 points. Of course, for the all-time series, Tennessee leads the all-time series over Cincinnati 40-35-1. Believe they've only I did do some research, and oddly enough, they've only met in the postseason once. But the last time the Bengals and Titans met in the postseason, it was back when the Titans were still the Houston Oilers in 1990. And of course, the Bengals won that game. And now it ended up being the Bengals' final playoff win for 30 years. Until last week when the Bengals beat the Las Vegas Raiders. And finally ended their long playoff losing streak. All I say to the Bengals is, hey, about fucking time you finally won a playoff game. Been long overdue. About time. So congrats to Cincinnati there. So yeah, this will be the first time that these two teams have met in the postseason ever since the Oilers relocated to Tennessee to become the Titans. So, of course, for the Bengals, Trey Hendrickson, he's questionable under concussion protocol. And Akeem Davis-Gaither, he's also questionable after he tested positive for the plague. And he also had a foot injury, too, because, yeah, fuck it, why not? And, of course, for the Tennessee Titans, Derrick Henry, he is questionable with a foot injury, but they are expecting him to play, so we are expecting to see Derrick Henry back for this game. And I think having Henry back in that Titans offense is going to make a massive difference for Tennessee. Like, for Cincinnati to have a chance at winning this game, they have to stop the run, because we all know the Titans offense lives and dies by the run game. If you can stop that run game, you stop that entire Titans offense. But can the Bengals stop Derrick Henry? That is the question. And I don't think it's going to happen. I feel like the Bengals had a decent run. At least they won a playoff game, but I feel like this is where that Bengals run comes to an end. I think Derrick Henry's going to play a big factor for the Titans in this game. And I got Tennessee winning this game. Plus, in my original playoff bracket, I had Cincinnati and Tennessee meeting in the divisional round. And I had Tennessee winning that matchup. So I'm going to stick with that pick in the divisional round. So I got Tennessee moving on to the AFC Championship game. So yeah, I'll take Tennessee to cover the spread. So I do think Tennessee will win this game by 4 points. So give me the Titans by 4. Now our next divisional round matchup, we're going to head to the NFC for our first NFC divisional matchup on Saturday night at 8 o'clock. We got the San Francisco 49ers and the Green Bay Packers meeting in Lambeau Field on Fox. Green Bay is favored in this game by 6 points. Of course, Green Bay leads the all-time head-to-head series over San Francisco 38-32-1. And of course, the Packers have lead the playoff series 5-3 over San Francisco. Of course, all 5 of Green Bay's wins came when Brett Favre was under center. All three of San Francisco's wins have come when Aaron Rodgers was under center for the Packers. So yeah, Packers fans should be a little bit wary for this game because Aaron Rodgers, he's never beaten the 49ers in the playoffs. Rodgers is 0-3 against the Niners all time in the playoffs. Aaron has been able to beat the 49ers in the regular season, but he's never been able to do it when it matters the most. So, of course, for the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's questionable with a shoulder injury. I imagine he's going to play through it. Raheem Mostert, he is questionable after he did have a test positive for the plague. And he also had a knee injury because fuck it, why not? Fred Warner, he's also questionable for an ankle injury. I think he's going to play through it. And, of course, Nick Bosa, he's questionable after he's under concussion protocol after that hit he took in the wild card game against the Cowboys. And you got Ikana Hufanga, he is questionable with a knee injury. And, of course, the Packers, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, he's questionable with a back injury. Jair Alexander's questionable with a shoulder injury. Kingsley Keke, he is questionable with an illness. I think he's going to play through it. And that illness is not plague-related. And he also got Zadarius Smith questionable with a back injury. And I believe Randall Cobb's also questionable. So, yeah, both teams are pretty banged up, but who can survive it the most? So, yeah, and of course, and Rodgers' 3 losses to San Francisco in the playoffs, 2 of them came against Colin Kaepernick. Yeah, people want to say Rodgers is the GOAT motherfucker. Rodgers couldn't even beat Kaepernick when it mattered the most. Fuck out of here. But yeah, so yeah, Rodgers, he's never been able to do it. Of course, Green Bay this year, undefeated at home, but I feel like if there's any team that could go into Lambeau in a divisional round and do it, it would obviously be San Francisco. Because San Francisco has had Rodgers' number for quite a bit. But I feel like nothing makes sense this year. And I feel like the Packers are going to find a way to bullshit their way to the NFC title game. So yeah, I feel like Green Bay is going to find a way to win this game. And I think Rodgers will finally beat the 49ers when it matters the most. I'm really hoping to be wrong, and I hope San Francisco makes Rodgers go to 0-4 against the 49ers in the playoffs, but I'm going to be realistic, and I think Green Bay bullshits their way to the NFC title game. See, I'll take Green Bay to win, and I'll take Green Bay to cover the spread, so I'll take the Packers by 6. So now we get into the Sunday games with the other NFC divisional matchup at 3 o'clock on Sunday. We got the Los Angeles Rams and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers meeting in Tampa Bay on NBC. Tampa Bay is favored in this game by 3 points, so that's pretty reasonable. For the all-time head-to-head series, the Rams lead the all-time series over Tampa Bay 18-9. And LA, this will be the 3rd playoff matchup between the Buccaneers and the Rams. And, of course, LA has won all 2 of the previous matchups. So, yeah, the Buccaneers have never beaten the Rams in the postseason. And, of course, in this matchup, for the first time ever, we'll get to see Matt Stafford face the GOAT Tom Brady in the playoffs. A dream matchup I've been waiting a long time to see. And it's finally going to happen. Stafford versus Brady in the postseason. I'm going to definitely be watching this game and looking forward to it. So, of course, for the Rams, Andrew Whitworth, he's questionable with an ankle injury. Taylor Rapp is questionable under concussion protocol. And David Long is questionable with a knee injury. And Tampa Bay, Sean Murphy-Banting, he's questionable with a hamstring injury. And Tristan Wirfs is questionable with an ankle injury. So, yeah, not much of these teams are banged up. Of course, both teams coming off dominant wins in the wild card round. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Of course, the Rams have won the last 2 matchups over the the Buccaneers. So, yeah, and of course, earlier this year, Stafford did beat Brady earlier this year, but, in the postseason, we can never underestimate Tom Brady in the postseason. And we all know postseason Tom Brady is a lot different than regular season Tom Brady. Plus, Brady has still been able to defy Father Time because that old bastard doesn't know when to die. So, yeah, as great of a run as Stafford has had, Stafford finally getting his first career playoff win last week against the Cardinals, which you love to see it. So, yeah, as great as that moment was, I feel like this is where Stafford's run hits midnight. You just can't doubt Tom Brady in the postseason. You just can't doubt Tom Brady in the postseason. I know some people are starting to doubt Brady in the postseason. It's like, no, what are you doing? Why you keep making this mistake? Never doubt Tom Brady in the postseason. Like, doubting Brady is how Brady's going to become a 20-time Super Bowl champion. You're just going to wake a monster inside him. Like, So yeah, with that said, I just can't doubt Brady in the postseason. So I'm taking Tampa Bay to win this game, and I take Tampa Bay to cover the spread. So give me Tampa Bay by 3. And the final divisional round game we're going to go over here, we have on Sunday evening / Sunday night at 6:30. We got the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City on CBS. The Chiefs are favored in this game by 2 points. So overall, on the all-time head-to-head series, Buffalo leads that all-time head-to-head series 27-23-1. In terms of postseason matchups, both teams have won 2 meetings against each other apiece. So this game is the rubber match. So yeah, the rubber match between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. So for the Buffalo Bills, the only injury on the list here is that Mario Addison's questionable with a shoulder injury. The Chiefs, Rashad Fenton's questionable with a back injury, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is questionable with a shoulder injury. So yeah, this is going to be a good game for sure. So of course, the Bills have always struggled out on the road this year, and the Chiefs have always been good at home. Of course, I know the Bills did beat the Chiefs earlier this year and blew the Chiefs out in dominating fashion on that Sunday night game. But that game was pretty early in the season. The Chiefs really looks like they got their heads out of their asses since that game. And, Buffalo, they are coming off that dominant win against the Patriots in the wild card round. And the Chiefs pretty much retiring Big Ben last week in the wild card round. But of course, in my bracket predictions video, I had the Bills and the Chiefs matching up in the divisional round, and I took the Chiefs in the divisional round. You know what? I'm just gonna stick with it. I feel like if you give Andy Reid a second chance at the Bills in the postseason, the Chiefs get it done. I mean, it's very hard to beat a team twice in one season. So I'm gonna take the Chiefs to win this game, and I think the Chiefs advance to the AFC title game. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to win, and I'm obviously going to take them to cover the 2 points. So yeah, give me the Chiefs by 2. I'll take the Chiefs in that game gladly. But yeah, anyway, that's going to wrap it up here for my 2021-2022 NFL divisional round picks. So for my AFC and NFC championship game predictions, I'm going to stick with the predictions I had originally in my playoff bracket, which was the AFC title game. I had it being Titans versus Chiefs. I'm going to stick with that one. And then for the NFC, I had it being the Packers versus the Buccaneers, and I'm going to stick with that one too. So I feel like those are the 2 championship games we're going to have this year. What would happen? We'll have to see how the divisional round goes in the playoffs. But yeah, anyway, that's all I got to say, and I'll see you on whatever I make next. Peace.